通行あけんここまで来たぜあえんbetter than I was
Talk about Broad and Anderson seeing this as maybe, at least one of them seeing this as maybe their final sort of foray into Test cricket.
Shadowfacker bowls and Sibley works that one away through leg side. There's no run. I think the thing is, good England teams have gone to Australia and been beaten. This isn't a good England team, and they're going to go and get thumped. And it may not be a brilliant Australia team, but they're still going to lose.
It's a very poor Australian team at the minute, I think. But they're better than England.
Yeah.
But I mean, there comes a time where, I mean, by the stage you get to the end of the Ashes, if Joe Root stays fit and captains all the way through, he will be the most capped England Test cricket captain. There comes a time where, with a young family, does he need it anymore?
Nice ball from Shadowfacker, shapes away from the right-handed Sibley, who's 21 from 77. Well, if Joe Root does decide to hang up his boots, I hope it's not for a good long time, just for the very fact that, as we see Axar Patel on the field, there's sub-fielder, there is nobody else, and nobody's got his quality, and if England's batting is bad now, they'd just take Joe Root out of it and imagine how poor they would be.
Somebody said to me on my podcast last night, what happens if Joe Root gets injured before the Ashes? I basically said, well, you might as well just keep the plane on the ground.
Next delivery wide, you're stumping the lead. Agreed. He's England's best batsman by a mile, but they need to find some players who are going to do something. I mean, maybe you look to the past and, what about your Balances? What about your David Milans? Players that we've seen a little bit of. I really don't know what the answer is. Or maybe some of the youngsters that you've mentioned who haven't been given a go yet. Maybe there's somebody waiting in the wings who's going to grasp his opportunity. But I think it's a real faint hope. England have got success just looking at the way things are stacked right now, and we know Jofra Archer Ida.
That's a big blow as well, isn't it? Tom Abel's a player who I rate very highly.
Shammy bowls and that Shammy blocked away.
Tom Abel was given the Somerset captaincy when he was only 21, 20. He's very, very young, and there were other candidates. They saw something in him as an individual, very mature 20-year-old, and he's led Somerset obviously for the last 4 or 5 seasons. He scored a lot of runs in that period as well. He's somebody that I think if they gave him an opportunity, and there's no guarantee with anybody, you can list all of these potentials, and in the same way that when you looked at Root and you looked at some of the others when they first came into the England side, you're still looking for them to actually step up and do it.
Shammy again bowling at the stumps and Root blocks away.
But if Tom Abel was able to make a fist of Test cricket and get himself into that top order, he is a potential successor to a Joe Root. But we're talking probably 2 years before you know the answer to that, because I don't want them to see. I don't want to bring in a Hamid or a Tom Abel and give them 3 games and then bin them. I felt so sorry for James Bracey. He got those 2 games. He always knew that was going to be his 2 games. He was nervous. Everybody's different when they're confronted with a new challenge, and I think it was really unfair on him.
Shammy balls, that's driven by Root, and toward the boundary and over the boundary here. We're rolling in quicksand there. So anyway, what you're saying is if Tom Abel is able, he might uproot Root.
Exactly. Hamid. I can't think of one for Hamid. But yeah, he's the obvious longer-term England captain. He's the obvious longer-term captain. Quite like Test matches played. Needs to be that position to say, well, he's got his place in this England side, and he's therefore in a position to take over as captain, isn't there? He's probably looking 20 Test matches before.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wonder if any of these young kids are just going to, at some point, stand up and say, right, here we go. Lovely shot from Joe Root. That's going to go to the boundary for 4. He timed that better than the last shot, and all of a sudden Shammy bowling at the stumps doesn't seem to be such a clever idea, and England sailed by just 15 now.
He's so much better than anybody else in this England top order, isn't he? He's just so much better. It's like watching a different game on a different surface when Root's batting. I mean, he's obviously a couple of foul shots so far in this innings, but he's got to 29. Played some beautiful shots along the way, and just looks a different quality of player, which he is.
He's like a thoroughbred stabled with pit ponies at the minute. Root's 29.
Giving Collie something to think about though. They've obviously kind of zoom into him because he's always expressive, but he's obviously with the deficit now 15 and 2 wickets down. It's starting to become a slightly different game again.
Next delivery, plays over the top of it, picked it back with a point, no run there. At times he can make it look ridiculously easy. You know, they've got India have got their plan for him. They're going to bowl at the stumps, and they feel he's susceptible. But in doing that, they're feeding him a lot of scoring opportunities, and typically of Joe, he's taking him. He's 29 from 32. Shami's got one ball left of the over. You know, if you want to buy Joe Root's wicket, well, have a go, but he's making him pay a price for it at the minute. Anyway, Shami to finish the over off to Joe Root. Outside the off stump this time. He didn't want to get clattered for 4 again in the over, so he opts out. He's 80 for 2 England.
And you mentioned David Malan there, he's another one as well. James Vince is somebody that I would like to see get another opportunity. I know as soon as you mention James Vince in certain quarters, they say, well, he races to 20, then he gets out, flashes behind to the slips. And yes, that's true. That's what he has done in the past. But he's a very, very good player. And if you actually look at James Vince's career, at all levels, when he's taken a step up, it's taking him quite a long time to get used to the step up. But once he has done, he's become a very, very good player and scored a lot of runs. I think there is potential with James Vince. We saw him obviously score a century in the ODIs recently. And to, not because of that, but because he's a good player, to actually give him another opportunity. But maybe the Ashes isn't the time to throw somebody in, is it?
Thacker bowls, and that's driven by Sibley, but he can only find the man at mid-off.
And that's the other problem, John, isn't it? Because if you throw somebody in now who is from left field or from next cab off the rank, you're throwing them against India and you're throwing them into an away series against Australia. They're not going to get any freebies there, are they?
Yeah, the only problem is that we can't wait for tiddlers. England might just be able to win the series. You know, can't play Sri Lanka every time, can they? Anyway, Shardul Thacker balls. One seams in and Sibley leaves it, but I tell you what, that was close to nipping his bails off.
He's fallen foul to that in the past, Dom Sibley, of not quite judging where his off stump is. I mean, it's an important shot, that leave alone outside the off stump, but you don't want to play it too often because it will take your off stump if you leave them when they're too close to the off bail. He's just tempting fate a little bit. I'm just going to go make myself a coffee, John.
You do that. Hopefully we'll keep all the wickets intact while James goes and has his little break. Here comes Shardul Thacker then to Sibley. That worked off middle and leg, and that will be an easy single. England trail by just 14 now. 81 for 2. Burns has failed. Crawley's failed today. Typically Joe Root is trying to succeed, although he did have one that came off an edge that didn't quite carry to Virat Kohli. But again, I mean, and typically Joe Root, he's now top scoring for England with 29. And he leaves this delivery from Shardul Thacker outside his off stump. And he's got that off stump covered. He knows that's not going to nick the bail off. Well, at least the weather's been good today, but that'll be hastening defeat for England. However, at least it looks like they're going to be making India bat again, because England trail by just 14 now. India will be cocked if they can get Joe Root out, who pulls this next delivery. And he's fairly safe, and he'll get just a single for that. I don't think Shardul Thacker's quite thick enough to, or quick enough to be throwing a short ball in like that. But anyway, Root wasn't tempted to go airborne, just spooned it into the ground on his left heel. Bang! Pops it through leg side for a single. That puts Sibley on strike for the final ball. Shardul Thacker's over. Military medium, this guy. That's a good delivery, nipping in. Ooh, and Sibley there. Probably got a little bit of bat on that. But less than comfortable, Dom Sibley. He's seen 81 deliveries, but you couldn't say he's massively in. So, he's got to fight out there, doesn't he? And he's doing that, you know. Got to give credit to him. He's got 40 runs in the Test match, which 22 more than his opening partner Rory Burns. He goes about it in the right way. He leaves enough. He's trying to get through the new ball, so the ball softens up for the middle order batsman as Shammy balls and the Root plays it into the ground. I thought Johnny Bairstow played pretty well. He's 29 the first innings, and he's averaging about 35. He's Johnny, so he wasn't too far away.
So the trouble is with Johnny, he's averaging about 20 in the last 3 years, which is what his detractors always come back to, and the fact that he plays around straight balls, and that's how he got out in the end, which was unfortunate for Johnny, I think, because he did play well.
He did. He's got a rake of Test runs, hasn't he? I mean, you know, he'd had a couple of absolutely blinding years, but I always think, yeah, and then he played white ball. That messes with your head a little bit. Next time he played down into the ground, and then there was. I just thought he developed a sort of little wrinkle that saw him keep getting bowled, didn't he? I just thought a little tick he had. I think he's got through that as well. He's hardly played any red ball cricket, and there he is getting, you know, a few runs for England, 29, but on his day, and you know, given the conditions being
that
good.
Partnership that Root and Bairstow had was the only time that England actually looked like a batting side.
Yeah, exactly, and I just thought it was a shame he couldn't go on. Next delivery, that's flicked off the legs of Joe Root, and they'll come back for a comfortable 2.
Just watching Chung get his gold medal for Britain in the modern pentathlon. It's quite a bizarre event, isn't it? With horse riding, shooting, swimming, running, whatever else.
Fencing.
And you kind of think, what other kind of 5 sports could you just throw together? Like darts or something. Stick darts and snooker and something else in there or whatever. Make a different sort of pentathlon.
I mean, I've thought that for a long while. On pentathlon, I've always enjoyed watching it at the Olympics. He's been in for a while. Next level, just play down into the ground. But it's something to do with being in the army, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrific event, isn't it? And it's, as I say, some one of those kind of events that you don't necessarily follow, other than when the Olympics is on. But I mean, you can say you're a proper all-rounder, can't you, if you win that?
Yeah, it was something to do with being a cavalry officer. They would be expected to excel in all those disciplines. So that's where the sport comes from.
So darts isn't likely to get in then, is it?
Oh, really? Next, delivery chopped down into the ground. He misjudged out a little bit, Root. But anyway, he smiles at Shammy, a very disarming smile. And he looks at his back, Joe Root. Again,
it's the script, isn't it, for England's innings? Lose a couple of early wickets, Joe Root comes in. For a while we look like they can bat for bat a bit, and Root's wicket is massively important.
Yeah, but he's still there. 32 from 40, going nicely. Shammy then to Joe Root, who defends the next into the ground, but it's time enough for him to scamper and put another single on the board, and more importantly, retain stride, which is good for us. Watching Sibley is like watching paint dry, and I don't mind him doing that. He can anchor that one end as long as he can score the runs and get himself 50 plus, then he can hang around all day, but we'd always rather be watching Joe.
Did you watch the box? About 6 o'clock this morning I got up and watched the boxing, and it was Galyafai won the gold medal for Great Britain. On the coverage it was really nice. They had him, and he seemed like a really level-headed, quite humble fella. And these 2 brothers, professional boxers, and one of his brothers on a Zoom connection, and he was talking to his brother, who told him he'd got a PlayStation 5 ready for him when he got home and stuff like that. It's just one of those nice little interviews where it just showed a little bit of family and a little bit of the background and what have you. It was quite pleasant to win a gold medal. Britain have now got 20 gold medals on the table, 62 medals in total.
Yep, 4th in that list, aren't they? Brilliant stuff. Next delivery smashes into the pad. It's going down leg side. It must have caught him there because Root hobbles down to the other end. It's a leg by, but it was definitely going down leg side. Maybe hopping over. Don't know quite where it caught him. He's 28, that boxer, wasn't he? You just think it's a long time to be battling away in the amateur ranks when your brothers have turned pro, with the hope that you might one day get Olympic gold. You know, the Olympics don't come round that often, do they? And you've got to give massive credit. But like, he's 28, so he would be fairly level-headed. It's not like overnight, or he's some young kid like Sibley, but finds the fielder.
And his brother was saying to his brother, it was, what do you think of the fight? Was it all right? Did I do all right? His brother was, you brilliant, mate. You're brilliant. You're absolutely fantastic. So proud of you. And did you like that punch in the first round? It was just one of those conversations. It was almost like eavesdropping on his telephone conversation home kind of thing. It was great.
It'd be like them sat around the table. I can imagine they're very the same at the Currans, isn't it? If you sit round their family table. Next delivery. That's worked away. Oh, there might be a run out here, and they throw the stomps, and that wasn't good from England at all.
It's been Sibley's biggest weakness so far, his running.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big lad. He did lose a little bit of weight. He said going in the England dressing room, looking at the superstars he was among, made him feel a little bit sort of envious, and he's worked hard at his body shape and all that. But anyway,
it was after his first in their game and what have you. Joe Root's giving him a bit of a telling off there. So basically, he kind of like did his like the mouth sign with his hand there to say, "Go on, call, man."
He had to call, and it was his call, wasn't it? It was Sibley's call. He pushed the ball forward, looked like he was going, and then he stopped, but he didn't say anything. And Joe Root was nearly out of his ground. This time the ball gets through the fielder, and that's going to be just 2 runs. I'm not sure he got to the boundary. That did it. Anyway,
somebody's come around and cut it off, so gets more runs to his. I think he just got the 1 there actually in the end.
Anyway, Root and Sibley can exchange smiles. I think that's it for Joe Root. He must be a joy to play with. You know, he's going to encourage you. Obviously, you talked about steely determination he's got. Yes, he has, and he'll tell you if you're wrong, but he won't hold grudges, and he just gets back on with it. I think it's good the way he takes it on. Next delivery, Root plays it down to third man boundary and will take the single.
I mean, I've known Rooty since he was maybe 14, 15. I was working at Yorkshire for the period where he came through the academy into the second team and then into the first team. And he's always been a kid who basically, I mean, he's not a kid anymore, but always been somebody who is so enthusiastic. He just loves cricket, lives and breathes it, works really hard, and had a burning ambition to be as good as he possibly can be. I mean, you can never make any predictions really on how far somebody's going to go, but he was always going to play first-class cricket and always had a very good chance of playing for England, but he's obviously gone well past that.
Next delivery, that's wide the off stump and the leave. Talking about what's going on at Headingley, this won't mean anything to most people out there, but Jack Sinfield, the son of Leeds legend Kevin, has signed his first pro contract with the Leeds Rhinos. I don't know what the comparison would be like, but I guess it would.
Bairstow going to the Yorkshire team, probably.
Yeah, exactly that. It would be something like that. You know,
I wrote a book about exactly that, about following in the footsteps of cricketing fathers was the name of the book, and talking about how younger generations had followed their dads and granddads or whatever into cricket and the pressures and the because just like you have done, as soon as you see them.
So it should be a good game today. Both of these sides well established international sides, plenty of firepower in both sets of players. Tournament top scorer Richarlison is leading the line today for Brazil. Asensio and Oyarzabal and Olmo leading the line for Spain. We will have a full rundown of the team sheets shortly before kickoff. So Spain haven't had it easy since the group stage. They did top Group C with 5 points. They then went on to see both Ivory Coast and the hosts Japan out of the competition in the quarterfinals and semi-finals respectively. Both of those games were decided in extra time, so a bit of extra minutes in the Spanish legs compared to their Brazilian counterparts. Brazil finishing top of Group D with 7 points, They then had a normal time 1-0 victory over Egypt, though they did need penalties to see off Mexico in the semi-final. So plenty of experience and skill on display. We'll go through the lineups now. In goal for Brazil, Santos. A back four going from right to left of captain Dani Alves, Nino, Diego Carlos and Arana. Then a midfield two of Douglas Luiz and Bruno Guimaraes. Claudinho, Cunha and Anthony will play behind the previously mentioned lone striker Richarlison. For Spain, Unai Simon in goal, Gil, Garcia, Torres and Cucurella at the back. Captain Mikel Merino, Zubimendi and Pedri in the midfield three, Asensio, Oyarzabal and Dani Olmo up front. Substitutes for Brazil today: Breno, Graça, Reinier, Paulinho, Malcolm, Menino and Mateus Henrique. For Spain, it's Alvaro Fernandez, Jesus Vallejo, Juan Miranda, Brian Gil, Carlos Soler, Jean Moncayola, and Spain's top scorer in this competition with 3 goals so far, Rafa Mir, only makes the bench. So the teams will be making their way out onto the pitch shortly here in Yokohama. Should be a really interesting game. Both sides surely will want to get this done as soon as possible. Certainly those players who have already participated in the European Championships and the Copa America before this, with the new season around the corner. Most of the top leagues in Europe will be starting either this week or over the coming weeks. So it will be tough for some of those players. They'll surely have some time off before resuming their club football, particularly Pedri, who got through plenty of football last season for Barcelona, then went to the Euros with Spain and is now starring here in the Olympics too. So the players are out onto the pitch now. It'll be Brazil who get this game underway. As we see the players going through their final pre-match rituals. The action almost underway. Dani Alves, one of the most decorated players in football, looking to add a Olympic gold medal to his incredible collection of team honours won throughout his glittering career. The ball is on the spot now. We are just waiting for the referee to confirm the beginning of the game. Brazil in their traditional yellow shirts and blue shorts, Spain in their customary red. No fans in attendance today due to the coronavirus protocols of the Olympic Games. It's a shame, really. It would be a terrific occasion with a packed out stadium here. Unfortunately not meant to be, but the action should still provide plenty of entertainment throughout. So Mateus Cunha just waiting to get this game underway. Referee looks at his watch, and we are underway now. Ball goes back to Douglas Luiz in midfield. Brazil just holding the ball in the middle of the park at the moment, now playing it into the back line where Nino takes a touch, brings it a few yards out of midfield and plays it infield for Guimaraes. Looking to go long up that right hand channel, but it's slightly overhit, and Unai Simon will just see that out of play, and it will be a goal kick for Spain. Brazil not wasting any time trying to get forward, just a couple of passes and then looking for that run off Anthony down the right hand side. Just unfortunate that the pass was slightly lacking in accuracy. Unai Simon takes the goal kick out to the right hand touchline. Ball goes back into the Spanish penalty area, and they've gone long up towards the touchline on the right hand side again. Spain now in possession, looking for Oyarzabal. Turns and holds the ball up well, plays it back into midfield, and Spain end up going back to the defensive line, but they've got straight forward again down the left hand side as Dani Olmo gets one-on-one with Dani Alves. Anthony back there helping out. Brazil win possession back, but they've lost it straight away. Spain just unable to capitalise on the loose ball on the edge of the Brazilian area. Brazil bring the ball away towards the halfway line out on the right hand side. Cucurella goes in to challenge Anthony, but the Brazilian gets away from him. Spain do get the ball back on this occasion, played all the way back to Unai Simon, who's just outside the Spanish penalty area, plays a short pass to Barcelona man Eric Garcia. Garcia plays it in field. Ball touched off now for Zubimendi. Spain again building down this left-hand side as they get towards the penalty area. Dani Olmo gets inside the box, tries to lay a short pass off. Cucurella just not able to get there in time. Anthony plays the ball against the left back and it goes out of play for a Brazil throw-in deep inside their own half on the right-hand side. Dani Alves comes across to take. Not too much movement going on ahead of him. He throws it straight up the line and it's picked up by Zubimendi once more, who again plays it back inside his own half. Bit of a stretch for Eric Garcia there. He did manage to play the ball back to Unai Simon, and Spain will build again on the right hand side as they bring the ball just over the halfway line. Touched out wide for Asensio. Asensio stops and was hoping there was a bit of movement ahead of him. There wasn't, so he's played it back to Eric Garcia. Garcia across for Pau Torres. Torres now back to Garcia. Richarlison closing down, but the Spaniards working the ball well. Referee gives a foul against Richarlison for a push on Garcia during that pressure. Spain take the free kick quickly, looking to release Oyarzabal. There's a collision there between the striker and the goalkeeper. Both of them down on the turf at the moment. Keeper had got to the ball first, and then there was a collision between Santos and Oyarzabal. Wasn't any intent there. The referee has given the free kick Brazil's way. As Santos is helped to his feet, Oyarzabal stays down on the turf at the moment. Looks as though he'll be back to his feet shortly, and looks like he's both of them okay to continue. Moment of concern for both managers, but both players are up on their feet now, and game will resume as Oyarzabal just apologises to Santos. And we await the free kick to be taken just a couple of yards outside the Brazil penalty area, out towards that left-hand side. Santos will take it himself, goes long over into Spanish territory, gets the ball out to the left touchline, but Asensio's back there and regains possession for the Spaniards. Keep it working out on that Spain right-hand side, go back towards the edge of their own penalty area. The centre-backs exchanging passes. Torres was closed down well there by Richarlison, but managed to turn away from the Everton man and plays the ball into midfield. Good possession by Spain at the moment as they work it out to the right-hand side with Merino. Merino to Asensio. Asensio looking for the run of his captain Merino once more, but Brazil getting off bodies in the way. Good work by Bruno Guimaraes to take hold of possession. The ball's right down on that touchline at the moment. They do get it cleared up the left-hand side, but the referee has given a foul to Brazil. Out far on the Brazilian left. Just in front of the byline as we approach the 5-minute mark in this game. Still Brazil 0, Spain 0 in this Olympic gold medal match. Foul there given as Merino did just step on the foot of the Brazilian midfielder as he tried to play that clearance. Free kick to be taken by Santos once more. Plays it across his own penalty area to Nino. Nino will run the ball out of the penalty box. He's got Oyarzabal closing him down, so he finds Alves on the right hand side. Alves exchanging passes with Anthony, just a bit behind Alves, so he leaves it for Nino to put his foot through the ball and send it over into the Spanish half. There is an offside flag against Mateus Cunha. Spain have a free kick just inside their own half, out in the central left position. Pau Torres takes short and front to Unai Simon, just on the edge of the Spanish. Closed down by Richarlison, and Spain work it out to the right hand side, but the pass is overhit and Brazil have a throw in just on the halfway line on their left hand to take. Throws it to Claudinho. Claudinho gives it back to Diego Carlos. Carlos across for Nino. Nino brings the ball up towards the halfway line, switches it out towards that left hand side. Just about kept in play, it looked like. Referee and the linesman decide it will be a throw in to Spain. Rana adjudged to have not kept the ball in play. Throw in taken back towards Eric Garcia. Torres not having too much movement ahead of him, plays it back to Unai Simon. Simon squares it for Garcia. Garcia starts to bring the ball forward. Pressured well by Cunha on that occasion. was able to find a pass to Torres. Torres gets in field for Zubimendi. Zubimendi's pass into the middle of the Brazilian half was cut out well. Claudinho passing back for Arana. Arana under pressure from Asensio, just tries to get away from him. Does go to ground, but no foul given, and Spain will have a throw in inside the Brazil
most
half.
forward pass. He doesn't take the ball back. That is, he doesn't take the ball back. He only knows forward.
Spain half at the moment. Torres
He only takes the ball forward.
Brazil territory out towards that left-hand side. He's overran it, and there are plenty
Spain
of
is pushing an attack.
Left-hand side of the pitch at
He
the
will
moment.
recover from Brazil. Brazil have recovered the ball.
Dani Alves calming the whole situation down. And
Brazil are taking the ball backward. They are not making on. Brazil has
Richarlison out on that left-hand side.
Richarlison,
that
was a
back in the
block.
Brazilian half. First time pass from Oyarzabal was lacking in accuracy, and Brazil played back to Santos. Puts his foot through the ball, sends it over into the Spanish half. Brilliant control by Mateus Cunha. Anthony tried to take the ball off his teammate, and they ended up being in a mess. Spain got possession back, but Brazil now with a chance to break. It's going to be Mateus Cunha, gets towards the edge of the area, looks to try and find Richarlison, and it just blocked on the edge of the box. First real danger for Spain to cope with so far. They've coped with it well, and Cucurella plays it out of play. It will be a throw to inside Spain's half. Unable to keep that ball in play. Referee just asking that the throw-in be moved back a few yards. Dani Alves takes control of the ball and will take that throw-in. It's thrown straight to a Spanish midfielder. The ball bobbling around at the moment, a bit scrappy. It's cleared up by Diego Carlos, now out to Arana. Arana goes back to Diego Carlos once more. Douglas Luiz in space in the middle, but they've chosen not to use him. They tried to advance down the left-hand side. That'll be Claudinho, slightly more central than expected. Brazil just holding possession at the moment across their back line, just inside their own half. They come back into Spanish territory now and get the ball out to Anthony on that right-hand side. Good footwork from the Brazil wide man. Switches play out to the left-hand side. Arana keeps it and tries to cross in low. He's unable to find any of his teammates, and Unai Simon comes out and claims the ball as we head towards the 10-minute mark. Still goalless in Yokohama. Promising couple of minutes for Brazil as they put some more pressure on the Spanish back line, forcing them back towards the edge of their own penalty area. Able to bring the ball clear out in that central right position. And Garcia, pressured well by Richarlison, just takes the easy option, finds the feet of Unai Simon. Simon distributes immediately to Pau Torres. Now the Spanish defenders exchanging passes once more, and they get just over the halfway line. Long ball looking to release Olmo on the left-hand side, but it's harmless in the end. It runs straight through to Santos, who throws the ball out quickly to Arana. Arana back to Diego Carlos. Good pressing by the Spanish forwards at the moment. Long ball goes up that left-hand side, and Richarlison gets his body ahead of Eric Garcia. Garcia has to be careful not to give a foul away, and Claudinho takes the ball off the forward, switches it out to Anthony on that right-hand side. Anthony's got Dani Alves running ahead of him, just needs to make sure he stays on side. There's a foul there by Cucurella, and it will be a free kick to Brazil on this right-hand side, just a yard or so in from the touchline. Really good control from Anthony there, causing problems for Cucurella. Just ended up catching his heels as the ball was going out of play. Anthony and Alves standing over the ball. Plenty of yellow shirts to aim for in the penalty area. Spain with plenty of defensive bodies back of their own. We'll need a good delivery here from the veteran Alves. Does go in towards the penalty spot, and it's headed away calmly by the captain Marino. Alves takes control of the ball, just about managing to get that pass back to Anthony. Anthony plays it to Douglas Luiz, who gives it back to his goalkeeper Santos. Santos goes long looking for the run of Anthony now, and the push there from Cucurella He's pushed the Brazilian into his goalkeeper. Anthony stays down on the turf. Be interesting to see what the referee is giving here. Second. Right there, it was certainly a nudge in the back from Cucurella, which caused Anthony and Unai Simon to collide.